When my 9-year-old daughter memorized the 10 Commandments, she was pretty excited to say them to me. I sat on the edge of her bed and she made her way through that list. When she was finished, I thought, this is probably a good opportunity for a teachable moment. And so I said to her, "Morgan, have you ever broken one of the 10 Commandments?" She gave me this shy smile, reluctant to answer that question. I said, "Morgan, have you ever lied?" She nodded. I said, "Morgan, have you ever not honored your mom and dad?" We both knew the answer to that question. That was really more of a rhetorical question. I kept pressing. I said, "Morgan, I know you've never murdered anyone, but have you ever hated someone in your heart?" And she was ready to put an end to this interrogation. And so here's what she said. She said, "Dad, I know one commandment I've never broken. I've never made for myself an idol in the form of anything." I resisted the temptation to explain to her that this is the one commandment we've broken more than all the others. Martin Luther said, really, you can't break any of the other commandments without first breaking that one. But I began to wonder how many people would make the same assumption as my daughter. That they don't assume they struggle with idolatry, because idolatry seems like this antiquated issue for superstitious primitives. Just doesn't have much relevance today. But there's a reason why this is the most talked about problem in all of Scripture. It's because for most of us, idolatry is the issue. Who or what we worship is what we live for. And that determines everything. As a pastor, besides struggling with my own sins, I often talk to people who have their own struggles. When I hear about their struggles, my first instinct is to just call it what it is and say, well, that's a sin and you need to stop. But what I've discovered is that if you dig deeper, underneath that sin struggle is always idolatry. That there is this tangible sin that is the fruit. But idolatry is always the root.